Hi. Hi. So, tonight, we're going to continue on this With Everything series, and tonight we're going to talk about loving God with all your mind. And when I say loving God with all your mind, it can be kind of unclear what, kind of you mean by your mind. Do I just think, hey God, I love you, and you just think that, you're like, good. The answer is yes, end of sermon, go to small groups. Just kidding. But just like 2 weeks ago, we talked about loving God with our heart, and how that means loving God with your emotions, and having your feelings. And then we talked about loving God with your soul, and how that you dedicate your life to God, and you find fulfillment in your life with God. And just like those things, just like God's given you a heart, just like God's given you a soul, God's given you a mind. God's given you a mind for something. God has given each and every person a mind for something that you can show love to God and show love to people. You all have a natural gift for something, an eye for something, an ear for something, a mind for something. For example, when Paige and I, we wanted to redo this whole thing, this whole project, and put, wood on the walls, we called Jason Moore for help. Jason Moore has a mind for wood. He's really good at it, wood things, and he has a mind for wood. He knows how to do all of those kind of things. And so he used that mind of his. He used his mind for woodworking and wood, and he used it to show love to God, and show love to you guys, and show love to God's children. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. All of you have a mind for something, a natural gift, and so that's what we're going to talk about. How you love God with all your mind is by taking those skills, by taking those things that you have a mind for, and showing them and using them to love God and to love God's children. So we're just going to dig right in. Jesus talks about this in the Bible. In Matthew 25:14, he tells the story of the talents. I'm going to read the whole thing. Again, it'll be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But then the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with him. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with few things. I'll put you in charge of many. Come and share in your master's glory.
I don't know.
When the 2 bags of gold came also, Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I've gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with few things. I'll put you in charge of many. Come and share in your master's happiness. That's the word, happiness. Then the man who had received 1 bag came. Master, he said, I knew that you're a hard man, harvesting what you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here's what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked and lazy servant. So you knew that I would harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I returned, I would at least have it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more and will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Yay, gnashing of teeth. So let's break this story down for a little. So there's a rich guy, and he has 3 servants. 3 guys he trusts with his money to look after his stuff and look after his stuff while he goes away for a little bit. He gives the first guy $500, second guy $200, third guy $100. The rich man knows these guys. The rich man knows these guys have a mind for money. The rich guy knows each of these servants really well. He knows that all of them can do numbers and stuff in their head, and that all of them are good with money. And so the rich man knows that these guys know how to use their resources and know how to make more money with it. So the first guy takes his $500 and he buys some stuff and starts a small business, and it grows, and then he buys more stuff, and he turns that $500 he got into $1,000. Great. Second guy takes his $200, doesn't have enough to like start a business or anything, but he buys some stocks, sells them, and then invests in some other things, and turns that $200 into $400. Great. Third guy takes his $100, puts it in a box, puts it in the back of his closet. Sits in the back of his closet, gathers dust for a while, and then eventually the guy whose money it was comes back, and he tells the three guys who he gave his money to, he tells them to come back and meet up with him. The man goes up to the guy who he gave $500 to and says, well, what'd you do with my $500 I gave you? And the guy starts going on and on about how he started this small business, how he bought stuff and sold it, and he took this $500 and turned it into $1,000. And the man gives him a big old smile and says, nice. I'm so proud of you. You did such a great job. You did so good with so little. I'm going to give you so much more. Then he goes to the guy who he gave $200 to and says, well, what'd you do with that $200 I gave you? The guy says, I couldn't start a small business, but I invested in these stocks, and then I sold them and bought other stocks, and I turned that $200 that you gave me into $400. And the guy gives him a big old smile and, nice! I'm so proud of you. You did so good. I'm so happy. You did so well with the $200 I gave you. I'm gonna be able to give you so much more. And then finally, he goes up to the guy who he gave $100 to. He says, well, what'd you do that $100 I gave you? There's a long, awkward silence. Then the guy says, well, I didn't have enough money to start a business. I didn't have enough money to buy a bunch of stuff and start a business, and I didn't have enough money to do stocks or whatever, and I didn't have enough money. I couldn't do that. So I know you want your money back. I didn't want to lose it. I didn't want to lose your money, so I took it and put it in a box in the back of the closet. Here's your money back, And the guy gave him just the most disappointed look. And he said, I gave you that $100 to do something. I gave you that $100 because I knew you have a mind to turn that money into more. Turn that money into something else, to do something with that money. I know you have a gift for that. I did not give you that $100 just to squander, to do nothing with. At minimum, you could have put it in the bank and turned that $100 into $101. But you didn't. I know you have a mind for this, but you just did nothing. See, in this story, we are clearly the guys who get the money, and God's clearly the guy who is giving the money to us. But this story is not about, God running around with a stack of $100 bills, throw it in the air. But this story has almost nothing to do with actual money. See, in this story, God gives all of His servants, us, He gives us talents and skills, and He gives us things that we're good at. And at the end of the story, God gets it all back. See, I think this is a big part of this story that a lot of times we miss. See, everything we have, especially our gifts, our ability to do math, our ability to sing or dance or swing a hammer or paint with a paintbrush or make a joke, everything we have belongs to God. And we're just borrowing it. Everything we have belongs to God. And we're just borrowing it. So just a few minutes ago, The whole band was up here. And Annalise is up here, and God gave Annalise the ability to sing. And the ability to sing, really, really well. But ultimately, it's not hers. That voice is not hers. That ability to sing is not hers. She's just borrowing it for a little bit. And she's using it to love God. See, she has invested this talent. She's invested this skill. She's invested this ability to sing. She's invested her $200. She's investing that while she has her time here on earth. And she's taking it and she's working her hardest to love God with it. And so when she finally meets God, God will give her a big old smile and say, "Nice. I'm so, so proud of you. You did such a good job." See, each of us has a mind for something, skills, something we're good at. We love God with our mind by using those things that we have, those things that we're good at, to love on God and to love on God's children. We love God with our mind by using those things that we're good at to love on God and to love on God's kids. But I haven't always done that. After my freshman year of college, I went to work at a camp down in Texas called Sky Ranch. There's one here in Oklahoma too, but I worked at the one in Texas. And I worked as camp counselor for the summer. And before any of the kids show up, all the camp counselors go down there to train and to, do manual labor to help set up camp. So we build the stage and all the fun activities for the night stuff. So we turn, random pieces of plywood into fun things with fun colors and stuff. And one of those things was a gaga pit. And that was part of my job. We were going to make this gaga pit, and because, 8-year-olds like candy, we're going to make the walls look like candy bar wrappers. Wow. And so that was my job. We were going to, make some of them into M&Ms or Snickers, and so I got the Twix one, and I, was looking at it and trying to draw it out, and I'm not the artist in my family. So I, saw it, and all the lines were crooked. It was off center. One side was bigger than the other, and it looked terrible to me. Everything, it just looked off, and it looked bad to me. And I was like, geez, this is bad. I am not the artist in my family. So when I was done painting this, wall of this gaga ball pit for these 8-year-old kids to throw a ball at, I was done. I was like, this is terrible art. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't want to embarrass myself by painting this wall for 8-year-olds anymore. So I, went off to a different job instead, and a few minutes later, the girl who was in charge of, painting the walls of the gaga pit came up to me, and she asked me, "Oh, did you do the Twix wall?" I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "Yeah, it looks great, it looks good. Can you do the Snickers wall next?" And I was like, "What? What on earth is she talking about? That looks horrible. I can't, nay, I won't do another one of those things. I am not good enough. I don't have the art skills to make a Snickers wall for 8-year-olds to throw a ball at." So I said, "I'd rather not." She's like, What do you mean? We need those walls for this gaga pit to be painted, and you did a good job enough with this Twix one, so we need you to do this other one." And I said, "No," again. And we went back and forth and about this gaga pit issue for 8-year-olds to throw balls at things that look like candy bar wrappers, and I was like, "I don't have enough skill. I'm not good enough. I can't paint a Snickers bar on a piece of wood," and because I'm not an artist. I don't have the skills for that, and so I didn't do it. I worked on something else, and the wall for the gaga pit all didn't get finished that day. That night, One of the other people who was working on something else, and who I later learned was one of the coolest people in the world, named Denny. He pulled me aside and to talk about this whole, Gaga pit, wall, candy situation. And he asked me, why are you not doing what she's asking? She's extremely, upset and feels very disrespected by you because of this. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't have a good reason to not do it. I tried to say I didn't think I did a good job and I'm not an artist, and he stopped me. And then he said to me, Andrew, God has given you the ability to hold a paintbrush. God has given you a mind to make it look kind of like a candy bar or whatever. God has given you the skills and the mind to make something that's going to be fun for some 8-year-olds who want to come to camp and learn about Jesus. And you could be showing love to God and God's kids by using that skill to hold a paintbrush and make something look like something else. But you're not. You need to get over whatever this is and show and love God with the gifts that He's given you. See, I've always seen, other people as way more artistic or whatever than myself. I've always seen myself as somebody who, doesn't know how to make something look more visually pleasing. I never really seen myself as somebody who I'd never seen myself as somebody who could design something in my head and then in real life it looks good. I've never seen myself as somebody who could, do that. But apparently God gave me 5 cents worth of skills, which I didn't know I had. Apparently some of Patty's and my mom's artistic ability have rubbed off on me at some point. Apparently I had the mind. Apparently God had given me some of the mind to, make some plywood look like a candy bar for some 8-year-olds to throw a ball at. So why wasn't I using my mind to love God? I finished the Gaga pit, and I, kept improving that skill, that artistic or whatever skill of mine, and I got on Photoshop and kind of got better at this and that, and I kept improving this skill, my mind for design or whatever, and getting better and better and using it, and so when I did make something, it looked good, and I turned that, 5 cents of skill into, 7 cents worth of skill. And I still think I'm pretty trash compared to a lot of people who design things on, computers and stuff, but I do it anyways. Because that's a way that I can serve God. That's a way I can love on God and love on God's children, is making things on a computer and making them go in real life. See, I didn't know I, could do that. I didn't know I had a gift for that or any skill in that whatsoever. But God did not give me any of my skills, any of my abilities, my ability to, click colors on a computer, or my ability to use a paintbrush or swing a hammer or say words into a microphone. God didn't give me any of those skills or whatever to go unused. He gave me those skills so I could multiply. God gave all of us skills to use, not to squander, but to multiply these skills that we are given. To multiply what we have, get better at what we do, and make our minds better and stronger so that when we come and serve God's children, love on God and God's children with our mind, so that we do that, when we do that, we do it well. This whole series that we're doing, with everything, it's about loving God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. We love God by loving on God's children. Use your mind. Use the things that you are good at to love God. We've heard me. Dear God, thank you for all the things that you have given me. Thank you for all the skills you've given everybody in this room. God, thank you that you've given us something so that we can give it back to you, God. while we're here on earth, God, that while we're, breathing and living here, please give us everything that we need to do to love on you the best we can. God, I want to promise on behalf of myself and hopefully everybody in this room that we will try our hardest to multiply what you have given us, multiply the gifts that you have given us, and so that we can turn around and love you and love your children. God, please be with us this week. Please be with us as we, finish out this school year and work on improving our minds for this last part of the school year, even though it's going to be hard. Thank you that the summer's coming up soon. In your name, pray. Amen.